Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the explosive developments unfolding over the next 2 weeks in Port Charles, where family loyalties will be tested, dangerous secrets will surface, and unexpected alliances will form as we head into the dramatic episodes airing from February 2 through February 13. The Corinthos family war intensifies. Michael Corinthos and Willow Kane find themselves locked in an increasingly bitter custody battle that threatens to tear apart what remains of their once promising family unit. Willow, desperate and cornered, will resort to tactics that would have been unthinkable just months ago when she was the sweet, nurturing mother everyone admired. Her desperation to maintain contact with her children has transformed her into someone willing to cross ethical lines that even her closest supporters find disturbing. Sources indicate that Willow will weaponize young Scout Quartermain in her warfare against the Morgan family, threatening to completely sever the relationship between Scout and her half-brother Danny Morgan. This calculated move reveals just how far Willow has fallen from grace, as she contemplates using an innocent child as leverage in her personal vendetta. But Willow's manipulative strategies don't stop there. She's prepared to expose Danny's restraining order violation, a revelation that could have serious legal consequences for the troubled teenager who's already dealing with tremendous emotional upheaval. Willow's willingness to potentially damage Danny's future demonstrates that she's operating from a place of pure survival instinct rather than maternal compassion. Her attorney, Alexis Davis, will find herself on the receiving end of Willow's aggressive tactics, as Willow makes it abundantly clear that she'll deploy every weapon in her arsenal to regain custody of Wiley and Amelia. The normally composed Alexis may find herself questioning whether she wants to continue representing a client whose methods grow more questionable by the day. Jason's impossible position. Jason Morgan, the eternally loyal enforcer with a surprisingly soft heart, finds himself caught in an ethical dilemma that would challenge even the most seasoned diplomat. On one hand, he's furious that Willow would dare to create problems for Danny, who's like a son to him despite their complicated family dynamics. Jason has always been fiercely protective of the children in his orbit, and watching Willow use Danny as a pawn in her custody war goes against everything he believes about protecting innocence. However, Jason also recognizes that Michael, his close friend and ally, is being backed into an impossible corner by a woman who seems increasingly unstable and unpredictable. This internal conflict will manifest in subtle ways as Jason tries to navigate the treacherous waters of family politics while maintaining his principles. He understands that Michael never intended for things to spiral this far out of control, but he also can't stand by while Willow's actions potentially harm Danny's future. The tension will be palpable as Jason attempts to broker some kind of peace while knowing that both sides have legitimate grievances and neither seems willing to compromise. Dangerous international connections. Jason's troubles extend far beyond domestic disputes when he delivers shocking intelligence to Sonny Corinthos about international criminal Jen Sidwell. According to information provided by Britt Westbourne, Sidwell executed Henry Hank Dalton in cold blood right before her eyes. A brutal murder that has left Britt shaken and fearful for her own safety. This revelation transforms what seemed like a distant threat into an immediate danger that requires Sonny and Jason's full attention. The two men will huddle together in a strategic planning session, analyzing every angle of the Sidwell situation and determining how to neutralize this threat before it reaches Port Charles' shores. Britt, meanwhile, continues to navigate her increasingly complicated relationship with director Ross Cullum, whose true motives remain frustratingly opaque. She's on the precipice of discovering something alarming that could change everything she thought she knew about recent events. Whispers around Port Charles suggest this discovery might connect to Anna Devane's mysterious captivity, a situation that has left the entire Devane Scorpio clan on edge and desperate for answers. Could Cullum be involved in Anna's disappearance? Is there a connection between Sidwell's criminal empire and Anna's abduction? These questions will drive much of the intrigue in the coming episodes. Jocelyn's amateur investigation. Jocelyn Jacks, never one to sit quietly when mysteries present themselves, embarks on what can only be described as a fishing expedition, following her intriguing evening with the man she knows as Matthew. who is actually the enigmatic director Ross Cullum operating under a false identity. Jocelyn's natural curiosity and stubborn determination make her a formidable amateur detective, even when she doesn't realize she's stumbled into genuinely dangerous territory. She'll pump her sources for more information about Cullum's background, professional history, and potential connections to the various criminal enterprises currently threatening Port Charles. Additionally, Jocelyn remains fixated on that mysterious P. K. Sinclair novel she discovered, convinced that it holds clues to something significant. Her instincts aren't wrong. This book may indeed be more than just a work of fiction. As Jocelyn digs deeper, she risks attracting the attention of people who would prefer their secrets remain buried. But her determination to uncover the truth may prove stronger than her sense of self-preservation. Romantic complications and confessions. Nathan West finds himself in an emotionally vulnerable position as he opens up to Nina Reeves about his developing feelings for Lulu Spencer. Nina, ever the meddler with good intentions, will likely offer advice that combines genuine wisdom with her own complicated perspective on relationships. Nathan's confession reveals that his connection with Lulu has deepened beyond casual friendship into something that genuinely scares him with its intensity and potential. He's a man who's been burned before, and falling for someone again requires tremendous courage. Meanwhile, Lulu independently confides in her mother Laura about these same feelings, creating a beautiful parallel that demonstrates how both Nathan and Lulu are grappling with similar emotions, but from different perspectives. Laura, with her vast experience in matters of the heart, will provide her daughter with the maternal guidance she needs, while also gently reminding Lulu of the complications that await them, particularly with Maxie Jones still in a coma. The timing of these romantic developments couldn't be more delicate or potentially explosive. Curtis and Chase in action. Curtis Ashford will approach Alexis Davis, seeking her legal expertise on a matter that remains shrouded in mystery but promises significant implications. Given Curtis's recent involvement in various Port Charles dramas, this request could relate to business complications, family issues, or perhaps even his investigation into matters connected to the Sidwell situation. Alexis, despite her already overflowing caseload, will likely agree to assist her friend, demonstrating once again why she remains Port Charles's most sought-after attorney. Harrison Chase, the usually level-headed detective, reaches his breaking point and absolutely explodes in anger. Michael Corinthos appears to be the primary target of Chase's fury, suggesting that their ongoing conflict over Willow and the custody situation has finally pushed Chase past his considerable patience. Michael has a talent for pushing people's buttons when he believes he's in the right, and Chase has apparently decided he's had enough of Michael's self-righteous attitude. The confrontation between these two men promises to be dramatic and potentially relationship-ending, with accusations flying and old grievances bubbling to the surface. Friendships and family bonds. Jacinda Bracken and Christina Corinthos Davis will enjoy a much-needed catch-up session that allows both women to reconnect and share what's been happening in their respective lives. These quieter, friendship-focused moments provide essential breathing room between the show's more intense, dramatic sequences, reminding viewers that not every conversation needs to involve life-or-death stakes. Their chat will likely touch on romantic developments, family drama, and possibly some gossip about other Port Charles residents. Drew Kane's release from the hospital marks a significant turning point, though not necessarily in a positive direction. He'll find himself under Willow's care at home, a situation that fills him with justified dread given Willow's increasingly erratic behavior. In a shocking moment of honesty or manipulation, perhaps both Willow may actually confess to Drew that she was responsible for shooting him. Even more disturbingly, she might issue a thinly veiled threat that if Drew shows signs of recovering enough to testify against her or interfere with her custody plans, she won't hesitate to finish what she started. Drew's vulnerability in this situation is terrifying, as he's essentially at the mercy of someone who's already proven capable of extreme violence. Maxie's return and relationship fallout. Beginning February, 12 viewers will finally witness Maxie Jones's return to the canvas as she emerges from her coma, an awakening that's been anticipated for weeks. Her consciousness returning will immediately complicate the budding romance between Nathan and Lulu, forcing all three parties to confront extremely difficult emotional terrain. Nathan's feelings for Lulu won't simply disappear because Maxie wakes up, but his sense of loyalty and history with Maxie will create an impossible situation where someone's heart is guaranteed to break. Lulu will need to decide whether to fight for what she wants or step aside out of respect for Maxie's situation. The emotional fallout from this love triangle promises to provide weeks of compelling drama, literary conflicts, and personal growth. Molly Lansing Davis finds herself seeking advice on how to repair her damaged relationship with Cody Bell, who was deeply hurt by how his fictionalized counterpart was portrayed in Molly's recently published novel. Cody's anger stems from feeling betrayed by someone he was beginning to trust, as the unflattering characterization seemed to confirm his worst fears about how others perceive him. Molly, who never intended to hurt Cody, must now find a way to demonstrate that her written portrayal doesn't reflect her true feelings or understanding of who he really is. Christina Corinthos Davis will likely involve herself in this situation, particularly since she bears some responsibility for influencing Molly's negative perspective on Cody during the writing process. Christina's tendency to be overly protective of her sister led her to emphasize Cody's flaws and questionable past, advice that Molly incorporated into her manuscript during the most unflattering sections. Now, Christina must help repair the damage her meddling caused, potentially by having an honest conversation with Cody about how her bias affected Molly's writing. Charlotte's strategic dilemma. Charlotte Cassadine faces a crucial decision about how to handle her newfound knowledge regarding Nina Reeves's backstabbing behavior. Having overheard or discovered Nina's conversation with Jack Brennan, Charlotte must now choose between immediate confrontation and silent plotting. A direct confrontation would provide immediate satisfaction but might put Nina on guard and eliminate Charlotte's strategic advantage. Conversely, keeping quiet while secretly planning revenge would allow Charlotte to carefully orchestrate consequences for Nina's betrayal, though it requires patience and self-control that may be difficult for a young person to maintain. The choice Charlotte makes will reveal much about her character development and whether she's inherited more of her father's calculating nature or her mother's more impulsive tendencies. Either path promises dramatic consequences that will reverberate through multiple Port Charles families. The next 2 weeks promise explosive confrontations, heartbreaking romantic complications, and dangerous revelations that will keep viewers absolutely riveted to their screens as Port Charles residents navigate these treacherous waters.